The project delivers us some real opportunities within the town centre to make sure that we have an offer that appeals across the board. So something that has opportunities for the young, for families, for the elderly to come in and actually make more use of Brentwood as a town centre, given that it is at the heart of our borough. The project will also look at bringing together the north and the south side of the High Street, so from William Hunter Way right the way across the High Street to the Baytree Centre. And with that, again, it brings with it the opportunities to open up the space and make sure that it's not just dominated by cars moving from one side of Brentwood to the other, but that it's much easier for pedestrians to get about. The project also allows us, through the work that we've done with the Design Council, to look at the heritage and the history of the borough, but also make sure that we're future-proofing what's on offer to give us a really modern and future-looking town centre.
We were keen to work on the design plan so that we could focus on development opportunities in the town centre and how those development opportunities could work together rather than be considered in isolation. William Hunter Way is one of the key town centre opportunity sites, and we wanted to make sure that whatever development goes on that site functions well with the High Street. People can access the High Street and they can access the Chapel Ruins area, and it won't just be a destination in its own right. When we commission the work, we focus on three important areas, one being access and flow, one being resilience and sustainability, and the other being identity and character. Our identity is important, and we want to make sure that the design plan informs how the borough changes.
Brentwood is a borough rich in heritage. There are over 500 listed buildings and 13 designated conservation areas. The main conservation area that concerns this project, of course, is the Brentwood Town Centre conservation area. As you travel from south to north, the pedestrian links are not permeable, and part of this project was to re-establish the historic routes from the south to the north, as well as enhancing the High Street from west to east. There are many buildings in the High Street which have survived a long period of time. Part of the plan and the design code that will follow is that we welcome contemporary design, but we want to see how it's responded to the heritage and the wider town centre.
The council were keen to commission a team who had expertise from a wide range of areas. The town centre is important to so many different people for different reasons that we really wanted to focus on those with expertise in transport, access, flow, the movement of people, economy, the viability of retail, and urban design and the way in which people use spaces. It's important that the town centre becomes more than just buildings. It's also about how people use the place. We're really keen to make sure that the work is informed by experts who understand these issues and can work alongside the council to deliver what's needed in future.
When we first started looking at Brentwood, it was very interesting to see how the town is actually set up topographically. You've got the High Street, which is right at the centre of, or at the heart of the town. It's got places like the ruins, which are like the jewels along the High Street. And then you've got these alleyways, which are kind of these north-south routes that connect and link you into this world. So when we started looking at the design plan, our first aspirations were to look at things like access, movement, connectivity. So looking at aspirations for King's Road, for Queen's Road, looking at what we could do in terms of certain junctions. So the first aspirations were to actually downgrade some of these very traffic-oriented junctions to create public realm spaces. The second thing we thought about was phasing. So you've got the red route, the green route, and then you've got the blue route. So the red route is the primary route that actually straddles along Queen's Road, hits Crown Street, and then it goes straight through William Hunter Way. Then you've got the blue route, which is quite important because it actually goes all the way through the Baytree Centre. Then again along the green route, why the green route was extremely important is there's a cluster of schools to the north, there's lots of schools to the south of Queen's Road, and what becomes really interesting is how do you actually connect this nexus of activities and how do you actually bring back patterns of movement that actually lead you into the High Street. What we've done on William Hunter Way in the sections, you can see really clearly. On the ground floor, we've got the non-residential uses. So you've obviously got parking tucked underneath. We've put things like theatre, leisure tucked behind within the courtyard, and you could have residential that actually hugs these kind of very tight streets. And there's a flexibility here, so some of the parking, if required, could actually flow into the areas where we've actually shown leisure. So you could have parking at underground level, but you could also have parking under the podiums, tucked behind the leisure centre and the theatre. What then does happen with William Hunter Way is the street that you see at the centre is this pedestrian lifeline, where we're bringing cyclists and pedestrians through and dressing that with residential above. So it feels very intimate, it feels extremely friendly. And the other thing we were very cautious of is William Hunter Way shouldn't take away the importance or the strategic importance of the high street. So whatever we've put in terms of non-residential users need to complement the high street rather than compete with the high street. The one thing about Baytree Centre is centres like this are quite important for high streets. They've been historically present and they were built kind of in the 1980s, 1990s. But there is a huge population of Brentwood that actually uses these centres. So rather than getting rid of these centres, it's about enhancing these centres and making them part of the high street. So we thought about movement through Brentwood and movement through the Baytree Centre. So the movement routes were pretty much again north-south, linking back into the ruins in the north and then back into the Queen's Road to the south. So it was all about bringing an artery straight through Baytree Centre and connecting it all the way into the ruins and celebrating the ruins.
So we're currently preparing the final stage of our local development plan, which we will be putting forward to government shortly. And obviously the town centre is a key part of that. So it's looking at what do we want from our town centre from both a retail perspective along with a leisure side, and looking at those that live in the town centre and what it is that they want and need. So I think we've got a real opportunity here to bring together all of our partners that we've been working with to date. And my message is simply come and speak to us if you are interested in being part of the project, if you're a landowner, if you are a developer who wants to understand more about it, please come and speak to us.